In the United States, 40% of the American labor budget goes for housing. The wage withholding for Social Security and medical care is 15%. Other debt service, credit cards, student loans is about 10%. And other taxes, income taxes and sales taxes, are 10 to 15%. So of the take-home budgets of American workers, 75% is spent on non-goods and services. That means only 25% is available for spending in the market. Now, giving this monthly nut of the paycheck, there's no way that I can see that American labor or labor in any financialized economy is able to compete with economies that are less financialized, that have lower housing costs, where the government picks up the infrastructure costs of pensions and schools and basically has a lower cost structure. The problem is that the winners are not willing to give up their gains, and they are willing to push economies into depression in order to continue the business as usual approach. The business as usual approach means you don't have to change the structure of the economy. You can continue where you are as long as you can have the European authorities create their $1 trillion to enable governments to borrow their way out of debt. The internal contradiction is that austerity makes the debts harder to pay. A shrinking economy has less tax revenue, so it's going to exacerbate the budget deficit, which now is used as an excuse for calls to cut back spending, which is going to drain even more from the economy, adding a tax drain to the debt drain. So the problem is that if you repay the debts, you can't use this income to buy goods and services, and so markets shrink, and there's a declining spiral. There's a problem of economic theory and the illusion that all debts can be paid, the illusion that banks lend customers only for projects that are going to enable the customers to actually repay the loans, and the bankers make a calculation and calculate what the customer can repay. But that's not what happens at all. I think the only alternative in many cases is going to be the German economic miracle case. The most successful debt cancellation of our time was the Allied monetary reform of 1947, when all debts in Germany, except for minimum working balances owed by employers to employees, were written off. And they could do that because most debts were owed to the Nazis, and they didn't want them to pay.